Today's episode of AMA Podcast with Chris and Milos, we had the privilege of having Antoine Vaillant on here. He's an IFBB pro. Many of you guys know him. He's recently competed in Mr. Olympia contest and brought an unbelievable package. We discussed a little about his obstacles over the years as a bodybuilder, what his future plans are, what it was like when he was competing in Canada when he was 16, and ultimately just let Antoine and us have a free talk. It was a great episode. I hope you guys like it. And if you have any other questions, please comment below. And also, please subscribe. What's up, guys? Back for another episode of AMA Podcast with Chris and Milos. We have a special guest here, my friend Antoine, all the way from Canada. He just finished competing at Olympia. We're going to talk to him and see what he's got going in store. And of course, if you guys have not been on Telegram and seen Senapani Circles, Antoine and I are on there along with a bunch of other pros. Please check it out. Good entertainment. But we'll go ahead and get started. Antoine, how's it going, man?
It's going great. It's going great. Yeah, I'm at my mom's place. So after the Olympia, I stayed maybe in Burlington for like 3 days. Then I hit the road from Montreal and actually been there since then. So I've just been like enjoying time with friends, family, and maybe a little bit of food, maybe a good amount of food. But you know, that's what you do after a show. You know, you enjoy yourself a little bit, but I'm looking forward to getting back home and getting on the routine again. So, but yeah, everything's good on my end.
Hey, Montreal in January, what is it? Minus 40 degrees?
It's not too bad right now. Like, it's weird because sometimes what happens is that it gets super cold, then it goes back, it melts. So I don't know if you see this, it's green right now.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful, yeah. Because let me tell you, when I was there in Montreal, it was minus 42 degrees.
Oh.
And there was windy. Literally, I was crying because you come out and it goes through your bones. And like how people even function here. Yeah. That was my recollection of Montreal.
Yeah, but the thing is, like next week, it could be minus 40. That's the weird thing. And the thing that kind of sucks is that it's nice to have snow for Christmas, but then after that, winter sometimes gets worse all the way up to like late February. Then it starts to get a little bit better in March. So sometimes it's a slow start, but it gets really, really cold like for a long time. Like sometimes even in April, it's still going to snow.
Is this where you grew up?
Yeah, this is my childhood hometown. It's called Bromont, and it's actually an hour east of Montreal. And there's a little ski mountain here, and this is where I grew up. It's pretty cool coming back here. I see all this stuff when I was younger, and I actually just met a guy at the local gym just now because I came from the gym. He said, "Hey, do you remember me? I was a trainer at the gym you were training at when you were 16 or so." So when I was training at my first show, that guy was there, and he's like 61 now. He was 38 back then. I was 16 back then. I'm 35 now. So it was just funny. This guy just knew me from all the way back then.
But what is your first show?
My first show was called, because back then, every little town had its own show. So It was called the Mr. Granby 2004. And how it worked back then, you had the local shows like, literally like sometimes every town had a show. It's like Mr. Quensville, Mr. Granby. And there was Montreal East, Montreal West had their own shows. And then you would qualify for the provincial, which is like the state show. And then you would qualify for the nationals after that. So it would be like local show, provincials, nationals.
But then you won the nationals as a junior 2006 and 7, right?
So 2000, actually 6, I was 18 years old. I won Mr. Canada under 21. And then I won it again the following year in 2007. Yes.
But so when you win a junior, do you have a right to compete as a senior? Or they don't let you?
I'm not sure. But the thing that happened is that when I was 20, the following year, I competed as an open guy anyway at 20 years old. And I got second at the state show. And then the same year, I got my ass kicked at nationals because I was partying too much and I wasn't dieting properly. And I got last place.
Antoine, what sanction is that? Is it NPC?
So back then it was called CBBF, but now since it's split, the IFBB Elite and IFBB split, CBBF went with the Elite, and now it's called the CPA here. It's called the Canadian Physique Alliance, and it is linked with NPC.
And did you say that bodybuilding from when you were a teenager to now in Canada has gotten bigger and bigger, where there are more and more shows, or do you think there's the same? Because I have to say, in Connecticut, I mean, the Northeast, it used to be like 5 shows per year around that area. And now there's a damn show every single weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, the show that I did when I was my first show, I think there was like 9 to 12 bodybuilders. and that was for men. So there was no classic, no physique, no any of that. And for the girls, there was only fitness, bodybuilding, and figure.
Yep.
And there was not a lot of competitors, but now it blew up. I mean, I think all the new classes is very good because everybody was like, "Hey, I don't have legs. I could do men's physique." You know, like so. There's a lot more classes that can fit any type of bodies. And there was something at the Olympia, or there was a saying that I kind of liked. It said, "Bodybuilding for all type of bodies." So whatever type of body, yeah, there was some type of like slogan that I saw somewhere at the Olympia, or was it somewhere on an NPC website? It was like bodybuilding for every type of body type or whatever. It was something like that. So it's like, it's true now. I think the fact that they have like the wellness for the girls who have like bigger legs, they have like bikinis for girls who just want to be skinny with a nice waistline and a nice butt. There's and the men's physique for guys with no legs. I mean, it's perfect. So, and because of that, it really expanded the whole like bodybuilding industry. And now there's like a lot more shows because there's a lot more opportunities for people to compete in a lot more different classes. So the thing is, yeah, we can make fun of like some of the classes or like more like it was back in the day, right, Milos? And
well, you know,
but ultimately, I think it's really good that there's all these classes because it brings more people to train and compete.
You see, the federation had an issue when I criticized men's physique, because men's physique is actually, and I didn't criticize the category itself or competitors, because I love them. I mean, I love what they look like and everything. But the fact the federation is allowing upper body contests, don't train your legs, forget about legs, you know, go to the gym with no squats and leg equipment. Okay, we're going to promote it. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, when he was on the stage interviewing the winner, Ferguson, he says, "Hey, what about legs? You know, why this board shorts?" I mean, seriously. So it's very popular. I mean, my wife is Japanese. In Japan, men's physique by far outclass open bodybuilding. Like not even compare. So business-wise and all that is good. But as I said to the federation, involve legs, reduce these goddamn shorts to the level of maybe classic physique originally, and make them train legs. It can be transitioned for 1, 2, 3 years, but something needs to be done because, come on, we are all, you know, seeing flamingo legs with the upper body of a open division bodybuilder. That's not right. Did you ever actually put it on a video, or you are saving it for?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'll just, who knows? You know, it's not lost because I was getting posing conditioning from all the training for my routine and all that stuff. But what I'm going to do is just for another time, or maybe like remove the last part about the Olympia song and remove it to another song. But what I'm saying is that 2 years ago, I did my routine anyway, and now I didn't. And is it because there was like 400 competitors at the Olympia and they had to cut some things out?
100%.
I think maybe they could have like split in 3 days, do all the women's first, and then do the men's, or because I feel like it would have been, I would have loved to do my routine.
Your routine was awesome. He sent me, Milos, he sent me his routine, I think 4 weeks out, Antoine?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. One of the best routines I've seen. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, I love Antoine's routines because he's different, he's creative. He practices, you know, it's refreshing to watch. It takes your attention, right? How many guys nowadays, they go on the stage and you can actually catch yourself talking to somebody, don't even watch what they're doing because it's boring. They do the mandatory poses. Antoine was doing, I remember this California that you won and Olympia that year. I mean, you have a variety and you have a signature poses that nobody has ever done it before, which I tremendously respect. Because we can all copycat, you know, it's hard to come up with a new shit because how many arm positions you can have, right? Or
I know,
but you do it like really super entertaining. I think the beauty of posing is long gone, and people like yourself and few others are still trying to keep it alive. I would want posing round to be again judged. I would want symmetry round to be judged, but of course they're not going to do it. you said there was not enough time. Okay. 2020, when you competed, it was like what, 15, 16 guys?
I think there was 16 guys, and I came 14th place. Regan was 15 and Juan was 16. So yeah, there were 16 guys.
16. But this is doable. But 30 something guys, you know,
No.
yeah. So I can understand why they pull, the posing routine from everyone. But you see routines like that, oof, you should have done it. I would suggest you, when you're in super good condition, you practice like a couple of days before, tape it and have it. And then worst comes to worst, world can see it. Even though
I recorded a bunch of them. Maybe I'll post it or something, but it was meant for the stage. It wasn't meant for a video, But
Yeah.
it's okay. You know what my next plan is actually is I'm gonna try to aim for the Arnold in 2024, get an invite. And you know what they do over there? They give a best posing award.
yeah.
So and who hands it out usually? Arnold, right? So that would be one way to shake Arnold's hand, because my mom's sitting over there. Remember, Mom, when you said that, my son could probably shake Arnold's hand or something? You said that years and years ago.
Yes.
So I've been thinking about that since then. And so my chance is either like to win an Arnold, because I missed my chance in 2011 when I lost the Arnold Classic Amateurs. But now it's like my next chance will probably be if I do the Arnold Classic Pro, either win it if I can improve that much. That would be a very hard to do, but not impossible in my opinion. Or win the best posing award, which that I think I would be able to do if I put effort like for like a whole year and put into posing, making a posing routine. Who else is going to do that? I know Sergio might do the Arnold Classic. He always does it. He's good at posing, but it's the same thing. It's gracious, slow. But I bring something else. I think it's not just about being gracious and slow. I like epic, powerful poses that are like, like the archer pose, like that. That's from like an actual like bow and arrow. It's like weapons, and I like to just think about that. It's like it's a display of like war, and in my routine, especially the one that I would have done at the Olympia, it's like there's a story behind. And the story is that I'm battling, I lose, and then I rise again. That was the whole part of my routine, but I was not able to show it. So for me, it's like I think when I pose and I do a routine, it's not only showing my physique, it's like expressing something through it. So I think I would have a chance to maybe get the best posing award at that show if I do it.
And Antoine, another thing about your posing routine that makes it stand about the other people, that makes it so entertaining, is you can move as a bigger guy. You move like you're a middleweight, but you're not a middleweight. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you see a bigger guy box and he can move, it's kind of like, whoa. Obviously, smaller guys can move much more fluently across the stage from a ground pose to a standing pose, but your transitions and your smoothness look like, I show my training partner your posing routine, and he's like, dude, he moves like he's 150 pounds. But it's impressive because somebody's so big. And as you said, it's got a theme to it. It's got all different aspects to it. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see that in play on stage for sure.
Well, next time.
You are very athletic and artistic, and very, very smart about transitions. You see, okay, now when we talk about this, there's some great posers that do some great poses, but they don't connect them right. It's you have to have a sequence of poses and not have a wasted move. I've seen many guys that you can see they improvise. They don't really.
They drop the arms. Yeah.
And then they go this way, but then they change their mind. They don't finish it there, but they do something else. It's so visible. When I was watching you did some complicated moves and angles, and then you never hit the pose where your body looks bad. And I'm going to say this. Joe Weider himself criticized me before, like, hey, Milos, why do you do the back double biceps pose in your free posing routine? And when you're in a 90's, you're posing, you just expect that I'm supposed to do this is one of the poses. So I look like shit, but I got to do it. So he goes, no, Pre-posing is not to do the mandatory poses. You do the poses other than mandatory that glorify, accentuate your physique. Like, oh shit! But I've seen many, and then you bring a little bit of that 90's nostalgia, even with your conditioning in some of the shows. So I really appreciate you. But as you say about the Arnold Classic, look, as soon as you said it, I already visualized it. I visualized you, shaking hands with Arnold and getting that award. So, make it happen. It's a super realistic goal. But I'm going to tell you this one also, Antoine. I met you, I don't know if you remember, I was walking with my training partner, Matt, at the Arnold Classic when you tore the bicep. And you stopped me, and I was amazed to see how big you were. Because before you see the pictures and, you get a certain idea. But, I would like you to actually push that potential. You can be combination aesthetic monster. And I don't know your plans and stuff like that. Yeah, you know that I'm a shape guy. I would always want that, beautiful shape and everything else. But it's still open bodybuilding, and bigger is better, and especially an Olympia stage. I think you have an ability to pack on the mass. Are you holding back? Are you?
No, the only thing that happened is that even back in 20, maybe a little bit over a year and a half ago, I actually went back to rehab for drug addiction and also tore my left bicep at the same time. So I had to like lose weight and then come back from that. And then I also wanted to like make sure that I stay, because I hooked up with the Dr. Dwayne Jackson, and I wanted to also to stay healthy the whole time. We would do blood work every 2 weeks at the end of the preps, and every month off season. But now we got a good system, and I think the plan actually for 2023, why I want to compete in 2024, is that I want to take the time in the off season to really add the muscle I need. And I'm not made to be a small guy. Some people, they say, oh, you should do classic. The last time I was 220, I was 19 years old on stage. So it's that would be impossible for me. And the thing for me is that if I get to 300 pounds right now, it's not because I want to go there, it's because it would be an accident. I would eat what I want, I'm 300 pounds. So people, they chase the size to be 300. I'm actually trying not to be 300. So in this off season, we will just do everything properly, keep the metabolism good, keep the digestion good, and just like slowly gain muscle, and then try to stay at a weight that's reasonable. And my gauge for that will just be like blood pressure and the all that stuff, the lipids, and just the blood work to make sure that everything's nice. And as long as it's nice, I can just gain weight.
But was ever an issue, your lipids?
Yeah, it's always like the good one is not high enough, but then I get it in the green, and then it goes down a little bit because of prep. But I can bring it back.
How about triglycerides and LDL?
Those are good.
I mean, look, HDL is going to be always low with all of us that take, what we take, but especially Canadian fella, Charles Poliquin, good friend of mine. I mean, he will go as high as 50 grams of fish oil. Not
50 grams of omega-3?
Yeah, fish oils, and HDL was skyrocketed, so this is one of those things. But here, I mean, Antoine, I really love you and appreciate you. We never really sit down and talk, but I could sense your energy, and I appreciate you just mentioned you had the addiction that hold you back, and I know that you're quite open about it. I maybe I'm going to put myself on the spot too. I have addictive personality myself, and I know what that means. And 95, for example, I slipped, and each and every day I said, oh, no, I'm not addicted. I can stop at any moment, but let me just do another day. Oh, just another weekend, and then just like one more bag, and 9 months later, I'm catching myself doing it every day anyway. And then how your mind plays the tricks for you. Oh, I'm just going to buy one more time, but I'm going to show the strength of my character. I'm not going to even touch it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put it right here and not touch it. 3 seconds later, I'm doing it. Okay, so next one, I'm going to put in addict. I'm not going to touch it, right? 5 minutes later, you're putting leather and taking it off. So it is, for me, it was just decision and bottom line. Under no circumstances, not under the death threat, I would ever do it. I mean, so again, it's not therapy talk, but if you're my son or a greatest friend, you already know you have a addicted personality, and we are addicted to a good feeling. Oh, especially if you're, okay. So it's kind of easy to think that way. Okay, just one weekend, one more time with the friends, with the girl, with whatever, You are pro bodybuilder and you still want to make a legacy, so if you could, under no I mean, this does not exist anymore in your life. You don't even go there because you like it, you'll take it. Absolutely.
Sure.
Positive. But then the other thing that you said, you're trying not to be 300 pounds. While everybody else is trying to be 300. I mean, I wish I could have been, because as you see my journals I have here, I was eating 8 meals a day, 500-600 grams of protein a day. And, the highest I went is 282, which was heavy for me. But I know that you can be a monster. We know that you can be in crazy shape, okay? And you do have a 90's look to you. I mean, I remember seeing some of those pictures. You bring that, kind of look. So you can be thick, wide, strided, polished, and you're an entertainer. It's no-brainer, my man, if you put a couple of years of, I'm a motherfucker, pro bodybuilder, that now I'm not taking it easy. I want to see my full potential. And 2 years, under no circumstances, every single day. I mean, good day, good week, good month. No. Good meal, good hour, good. If you check the marks every time, look, I know that I don't know you personally, but I know that you're fun. You're hilarious. It's all beauty of it. But, soldier in a war cannot be cracking jokes. You have to, flip around. Yeah, I'm going over just last night. There is some Dorian Yates fans, right? And Dorian Yates fans against me because on the Jay Cutler TV, when Dave Palumbo or Jay, they say, oh, his hardest worker. Nobody's going to outwork him. No, I said, what are you guys talking about? He trained 4 hours a week maximum. So how do they define that as the hardest worker? I mean, I did 550 workouts a year, for 15 years straight, and I know the guys that train 4 hours a day. Oh, it's no intensity. Paco Bautista, Spanish guy, or so, they train crazy intensity. It's how do you define it? Hardest worker in the room. But you have a genetic potential. You can probably grow fast. Okay, so do controlled blast. Don't never get yourself fat to the point like you can't take your shirt off and find your abs. But if you have ability to grow, that's what they want to see. Yeah. And what's going to happen if Antoine Vaillant shows up 30 pounds heavier? Okay, doctor's going to tell you that's, hard on your heart. We have to watch. You already prove, I think, this year that with a minimal amount of gear, you created quite an impressive physique. I mean, pro champion physique. So I'm going to stop there. I don't want to preach too much, but it's within a reach, but it's not unless you define it. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Because even now, what is January 4th? 2024.
No, I'm like 63 weeks out.
63?
Yeah, because if it's March 2024, it's around 63 weeks.
Okay, but don't count the days, make them count. Now, this is good. Yeah. This is very good. That's very good. Listen, zero in and each and every day, even if you cannot do everything, do what you can to improve, limitations that you have. Okay. If you're off gear, look, I was training off gear much harder than on the gear because my training partner back in the day said, it's easy to train on the gear. When we get off, and back in the day, in the 90s, when we have a off, that means off. There was not bridging and there is not this and that. I understand new theories and they put a little bit here and there, so be it. If you talk to Jay, Dennis James, Chris Cormier, off meant off. You boosted with your HCG, PCT, right? Clomid and everything else. You could do GH, insulin, stuff like that. That doesn't affect HPTA, right? But you can clean out and still be anabolic. And then, the longer you can keep it, once you get back home, then Fat Lady's going to sing very, very soon. I mean, it's going to happen. Anyway.
Antoine.
Yeah, well, yeah, the thing that I'm going to say is that I don't think I've ever had 2 years in a row where I didn't have something bad that happened that set me back. So I think this time around, my recovery from a drug addiction, is the program is good. I got like good friends, good family, a great fiance. I got the best gym over there. Like I said, my program against my drug addiction is very strong, and I do it every day. My priority is to stay clean. It has to be that. And other than that, I just gotta stay away from injuries. But now, because my training is a little bit different than before, plus now I know that if there's something that's kind of like heavy in an odd shape that I would have to grab, like move, I'm like, you know what? If an old lady would ask me to help her move her the washing machine, I would say, sorry, old lady, I'm not going to help you. So it's just that through my mistakes, I learned now that as you get older, the tendons are a little bit more fragile, especially in odd, weak positions. So if I can stay off of the injuries, and which I will do my best to, and training wise, I'm for sure that if something hurts, I take care of it and I work around it and I back off the weight. And honestly, every time I backed off the weight, it made me like improve my mind muscle connection ability. So now every time that I would train after that, I don't need to use as much weight as when I was 20 years old. And when I was 20, I didn't know how to connect. So the only way I would feel like I could actually feel the muscle is by using a lot of weight. But now it's not like that anymore. So yeah, I never had 2 years in a row where nothing bad happened. So now I'm going on my I guess I'm going on 2 years now with no problems. So the third year will be the third time's the charm.
Antoine, I was just going to say that. I was going to say you haven't had that huge gap of time where you weren't injured, because injury takes away so much. And it's also funny you said how every time you got injured and you came back, your ability to connect with the muscles was greater because you had to learn how to take lighter weight in that recovery process, and make it more tension. It's funny is when I rep my pec, my chest grew faster the 16 months after that pec tear, because I'm like, I can't use 140-pound dumbbells anymore. I gotta take a scale back, but how do I make this weight, these 80s, harder? And then I learned how to contract and get more out of less. Joints felt better, muscle responded faster, and that connection was there. But one of the things I wanted to ask you before we finish was, how did you feel overall? Were you happy with everything you brought to prejudging and finals at Olympia? Because from a friend and from a fan of you, dude, from a long time, seeing you through this year with your first 2 pro shows this year and then Olympia, to me, because obviously I'm not there, but from what I'm seeing in the footage, you got better and better. And it seemed like that Olympia package was just an overall fuller, harder, and you still had the lines in the detail.
Yeah. So the day of the show at Chicago Pro, I was 257. And the day of the show for the Olympia was 265. So there was a significant amount of muscle that I've gained, and maybe there was glycogen in there. And also, I think I might have been drier in Chicago, but maybe sometimes the lighting. The lighting was weird at the Olympia, so I'm not too sure. But I might have been a little bit drier. But if I was drier, I don't think maybe I would have went down a few places actually, because at the Olympia they reward obviously size and fullness. Because I think Akeem was ahead of me, Patrick Johnson was ahead of me, and there was a few guys who were like their backsides were like. I mean, Andrew Jack is very impressive. All right, don't get me wrong, but backstage I was looking at the glutes and the hams. Even on stage, I was like, damn. Now I'm like 290. And I was maybe when I was 283, when I just came back, I was posing in the gym. My coach Dorian was like, hey, you could have showed up like that, and actually you could probably beat some guys, because I was way bigger and I had maybe a little bit of loose skin, like in the glutes a little bit, but then you pull the water out and whatever. But yeah, my to answer your question, I was very happy with what I brought because I listened to the instructions to the letter. Everything that Doran told me and that I had to do, I did, and I've actually worked the hardest with my posing. And the funny thing is that I could have posed better because I was so like hyped up. I posed too quick on the open round, but now I know that now. The next time I'm gonna go on stage, take more of my time, like in the transitions, and hit when it's time to hit the shot, hit the shot. But so the thing with competing is that you got to compete more and more and to gain experience and learn from your mistakes. But overall, I'm very happy and satisfied. I would have not changed a thing. And because the things like sometimes you have to like lose to learn. And I always think that it's through your failures and through losing that you actually learn more. Because if you win, oh, this worked. Let's learn nothing new. This is the thing. But when you lose, you're like, oh, this could be done. This could be done. Now we have to improve this. It's like you actually improve more when you lose. And I think you're more motivated to improve when you lose too.
What would you improve? What would you improve to the Arnold Classic? Like,
I think you'll just gain a lot more muscle.
You know, I saw you that workout that we did day after you won California Pro, and when they blew up the chest in that workout, I was in awe because I was looking at this is a perfect physique. Before, you seemed to me like a big frame and great legs and all that stuff, but it was, you know, not bad, but Olympia level, you know, top contender or not. So you were missing that. That day, I mean, we took a bunch of photos and you were posing. That full chest and you know, width of the shoulders, and it created illusion. This is perfect physique. Like, okay, I can see this physique with 5-6 extra pounds in a grinded hard condition, being contender, legitimate. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that. You know, so this is vision. I don't know when you start bodybuilding, and you, Chris, when I started, I promise you, I visualized what I want to look like. And that was like 1987. By 1997, I looked like exactly. I've seen in the mirror what I had in the mind before. So when I look at Antoine, and I've seen you in this gym, and we posed, and you did the side chest like this, and you know, the some most muscular, everything was happening, and you had a fibrotic tissue. You know, it's not like you don't see nothing. No, you don't see nothing. You see insertions, tie-ins, separations, striations, everything. Wow. So, you know, this is Antoine I would like to see, and I'm glad if you're so focused, you have a whole year. I mean, you can really become a not contender to win a posing award, which is probably already given, but to win those shows. I mean,
I told Evan my idea, my idea of like the Arnold Classic, and he said, "Dude, I believe you could win that." And I'm like, it's the first time somebody says that, and I'm like, if I look objectively, okay. I mean, I know that if I add muscle in the right places, and I'm actually full on stage, I've beat guys before that I thought were better than me, and I don't think I've reached my potential yet. So before I retire, because I'm 35 already, right? how many more years do I have? Now I got to make every day count. So I want to give it a shot, and I think this year is going to be it for me to really do a big leap in improvement. And because people take years off, but they slack off too long, and then it's useless. But for me, I want to make it count 100%.
So I only one time took a whole year off, 1994, and I kind of didn't like it, but because I have a whole year, and I didn't make every day count. I was like, okay, it's this kind of stuff. But now that I don't know if you counted already a days, 700 whatever days. This is a good thing. I'm listening. You say, if I put the muscle in the right places, take that off. If because that's a question mark. So the goal is I'm doing it. This is going to happen. So how many chest workouts you're going to have until March 24? How many back? Each and every one has to be producing results. And if one doesn't, you don't check mark. You put the X and say, God damn, next workout, rearrange something. But Antoine, I mean, you have so many followers, and we love you. We love your character. Even I don't know you that well, but everything that I know about you, I just love. So of course, my heart goes to me. Drug addiction is a serious thing, but I think you're dealing with it perfectly. And I took a liberty just to mention a little bit myself how I dealt with it. There is no power on earth it would convince me. Okay, do it just one more time. Just this. Just that. When you're pro, I am not putting anything in my body that's not going to make me a better bodybuilder. It's simplistic, but this is how it is, right? If it's not producing results, I'm not doing it. So good luck. And, I can't wait to actually see 2024 and remind you of this talk. I think that you're going to do the great things.
Yeah, thanks.
Antoine, you didn't seem to mention anything about Backstage. Was Backstage Olympia stressful for you at all? Or did you kind of because I know your personality is kind of just relatively go with the flow. I don't really see you stress much. Did you kind of flow with it, or?
Well, I was surprised when I first stepped in on how small it was, and all the girls were still there. I'm like, where can I put my yoga mat? There was no room. So I was just standing there, and because all the guys were all piled up like sardines in the weight area on the carpet, and then some girls, oh, you can use my yoga mat in the meantime. I'm almost out of here. So then I noticed near the garbage there was a spot, so I took that spot near the garbage with my yoga mat on the ground, and then I just closed my eyes and started breathing and just relaxing and asking questions to the people working. When are we going to be on? And try to text my coach, Dorian, and stuff. And so I was trying to just not let these external factors affect me and just try to make the best out of it. Because the thing is, if I'm waiting, everybody else is waiting. So we're all in the same boat. But there's some people who flatten easily like I do. So it was a bit challenging to just relax. And then you am I going to eat another meal? How's my waist going to be if I eat another meal? When actually we're going to be on? So it was not super stressful because I didn't let it stress me. But the first reaction was oh my God, it's pretty crammed out here. But the thing is, 2 years ago when I did it, there was a gym in the pump-up room. There was a huge gym with machines and stuff. We actually bought machines from those brands for our own gym at Pure Muscle. So it was great, but I think it's just in Vegas. Maybe that venue was great for the theater part, but Backstage was small. In Florida, maybe the venue was not as good for theater-wise, but Backstage was huge for the bodybuilders. So I think they maybe need to find a good happy medium there. But I wasn't stressed, but it could have definitely be better. Definitely. And they could have made us give proper times, but it must be so hard with all these hundreds of athletes to just time everything. They could have probably made the show into a 4-day show. You sell one giant ticket and then you can go for the 4 days or something. I don't know. But the thing with Dan Solomon and Jake Wood, I'm sure that, and Jake loves bodybuilding, so I really passionate, right? And the Olympia and the Wings of Strength shows are they're improved and always good. So I'm sure they will be listening to the criticism of like Jay Cutler and a lot of athletes. And so I'm sure it will be better because it could have been better, but I didn't let it affect me. And I don't think it affected my results that much, to be honest.
I figured that. I figured, especially even going through your drug addiction and beating that, you have to kind of compartmentalize your mind. And you probably use some of that strategy to kind of relax, stay calm, go with the flow. But I see they already. What's that?
Yeah, you know what the best thing about the program is that we have the serenity prayer, right? So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So the serenity to accept the things you can't change. So if you can't change it, can't control it, accept it, or else it will create suffering.
Yep.
And then if you can change it, get some courage, get some balls and do it. Don't be afraid of doing it, right? And then at the end, the wisdom to know the difference. So that's the tricky part. What can you change? What can you cannot? So sometimes in the midst of the action, you don't know. You need to take a moment and really ask yourself, can I control this? And if you can't, accept it. So you go backstage. Can I change the outcome right now? Can I change the situation? No. What's the best I can do? Find a spot, get comfortable, and just breathe.
You know, it's funny. It's most people tend to stress about everything they can't control, and they tend to ignore the things they can change. You know,
Exactly.
But I see they already changed already some of what the issue was this year with so many competitors. How they got rid of that point system, right? You guys saw that, and how it's going to be the winner of the show. So that's going to greatly reduce the number of people that are going to be, especially with other divisions.
Yeah, for sure. And the point system was put in there because there was not a lot of pro shows. So it was just to give everybody a chance to go to Olympia. Because before the point system, back during Milos's time, top 3 would qualify for the Olympia, I think.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. But yeah, top 10 from Olympia, top 5 from Night of the Champions Honor Classic, and then top 3 from any show. And if you are fourth, but top 3 qualified, you will get invited as a fourth. Yeah, but it still was not so many competitors, right? I mean,
I know.
I don't know. Back in my time, okay, there was 97 Olympia. There was only 13 competitors. 13. Okay. So imagine if top 10 qualified from last year, only 3 more qualified throughout the whole year. Why? Because everybody was doing the shows. So Vince Taylor was there all the time. Chris Cormier was there all the time, right? So now with all these shows I've seen throughout the years, not too many guys compete. I mean, if I would be you, and I know that you did just 2 shows, right? Vancouver and Chicago, right? I would have done 10. I mean, I'm in shape. I just won the show. I'm in the goddamn shape. Yeah, I qualified for Olympia, but is my training going to change? Now I'm going to try to pack on size. No, you're lean. You're a finished product. You just have a physique that won your pro championship, and you were close second to Jan Valier, right? So you were there. Really? If I was Dorian, what are you doing on Saturday? Next Saturday, you want to, have a picnic? There's a show fucking next weekend. You can win the show, build the legacy, build the experience, all that stuff, clean out every goddamn show. And this is what like Vince Taylor did back in the day, to the point that I want to tell him, hey, Vince, maybe you can skip one so we can qualify,
Yeah.
But then again, I respect it, so I actually estimate that 2000, this year, 23, that more guys are going to be entering multiple shows, which is logical. That's the job. It is. I tell people, it's like average person say, oh, no, I'm just going Tuesdays to work, and the other days I'm not going to. Tuesday is my day. Well, how about the rest? So, I mean, when you're already finished product, 0 body fat, right? You can compete every weekend and get the bigger, better, and all that stuff. And if you didn't hear this story, I'm going to tell you, because that's something maybe for you also to consider. maybe you and Dorian never went full-blown load because you always, that sounds unreasonable. So 99, I competed at Olympia, right? I did place top 10. But I'm going to European Grand Prix Tour. Ronnie, Flex, Kevin, Nasser, Marcus, Dexter, fucking. And when you sign the contract, you have to go. And only top 5 matter. Even 5th place is $1,000. So say, I'm going to go for these 2 shows. I have 0 chance, to be, up there. But you know what? It was my last year. I did every show 99, whatever was organized. I'm going to just load up to the yin-yang. I mean, literally, you probably heard me say 7 days of crazy loading. Crazy. Of course.
Eat whatever you want.
Yeah. And the British Grand Prix pictures, ones that I post the most, I was so goddamn full. I've never been that full. But, because I stepped out of the box, because your coach, your staff always, let's play safe. I want to be conditioned. I want to be dry. I want to be, so that puts the brake a little bit. But after this, I realized, well, let me try to blow this guy up, my athlete, 3 weeks out of the show and just see how far we can go, right? It's the kind of things that now that you have a 70-something weeks and you have a big frame and you can load up, just a little suggestion. You guys should maybe try to see in off-season, how far can you go? I mean, I did 7 days of crazy load. I did close to 10,000 grams of carbs in 7 days. 12, 13 a day. And it's like, there's no place to go. For sure I'm going to spill over. Well, guess I wasn't. And then I get that, skin, bursting fullness, like, oh, shit. I'm sure that you guys are familiar with this. There is no better feeling that you're fully loaded on stage and you squeeze and shit is happening, right? Yeah. Or you're there and you squeeze and you look
I
at
know.
the screen. Do I look good?
Yeah, I know. So it's crazy because back in the gym, just like last week, or even now, especially the first workout I did back home, I was like, holy moly. Like everything was like dry and full. I was like, if I could only just take that and transfer it to the stage. And one of my friends, actually, Khaled, actually said he did it. He said for 4 days he ate whatever he wanted, pizza, everything, and all that stuff. And then he said that he was super, super, super full on stage, and he did it. It just works. Is that it's kind of scary to like eat that much before a show, right?
Especially digestion wise. I mean, you're sometimes reintroducing foods that you haven't had all along. You're eating a large quantity, and you don't know what your stomach's going to do, or if the person who's making it is making food that's maybe pushing the expiration date, and you get the shits.
I know.
But here it is. You know that you follow this. Back in the 90s also, and the 2000s, there was shit loading as a contest prep, right? Shit loading, which means you die down, depleted, and then eat whatever you want. I never tried it until 99 Night of Champions. Now, Chris, that you mentioned this, she said, okay, let me go with that fucking shit loading anyway. I wasn't going to really compete in this one last minute, so I'm going to do it. And I ate things that I don't eat normally. And that was the first time that I had a bubbly gut on stage that, one of those things like, any which way you go, the fucking stomach follows you. Like, right here, like, oh, fuck. I didn't like it. So that was a bad idea. But for 99 European tour, I didn't introduce any food that I'm not familiar with. It's just more of the kinds that I was always eating, which just push the limits of a good food that you're not going to have a digestive issues.
Antoine, you have good digestion, right? You don't have many issues.
No, not really. I mean, I get bloated sometimes at night if I'm gonna have a high day and a cheat meal after that, but it goes down pretty flat. Right now, it's like I have a little bit of inflammation just because I've been eating like different foods. But other than that, like when I was the first part of my prep, I was eating 5,700 calories, dieting down, and stomach was like super flat in the morning. And
57?
I think because I was eating a lot of fiber, probiotics, sauerkraut, and just all that kind of stuff. And I think because of that, and just taking time between meal and not drinking lots of water with your meals, just the body will just digest everything pretty easily.
So 57, you said. 57?
Yeah, 5,700
How much
calories.
protein?
It's always around 300 something.
Only. Okay. So that's 1,200 calories. So the 4,000 something comes from carbs and fat.
Yeah, and I eat a good amount of fat, usually like 15 grams per meal from good fats.
Okay.
Awesome. Antoine, do you have anything you want to finish with? I know you said that 63 weeks out to the next pro show.
To March 2024, yeah.
Yeah, March. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. But do you have anything you want to finish with, or anything you want to thank or plug, email, how to contact you, anything like that?
Well, if you go on my website, avbodybuilding.com, there's some ebooks there. You can get some merch, so avbodybuilding.com. Other than that, check out Centopani Circles. I think we gotta there's a link, and you could put a link in there. It's all of us just talking all day and having fun. And hdmuscle.com for the supplements, ironbowstrength.com for the belts and sleeves and wraps, riderwear.com for some cool shoes and apparel. And yeah, and if you're around the Toronto area, GTA area in Canada, check out Pure Muscle Fitness. It is the best gym in the world. And if you guys come, you will agree with me. But other than that, thanks for all the support to Milos, to you, Chris, and everybody else watching. I appreciate it. And we're not done here, so we're going to keep going and do our best.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you.
Raise the bar.
Yeah.
And really, from the bottom of my heart, you have a combination of everything. If you focus these 63 weeks, you can be a talk of the town in Ohio. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks again, Antoine, for coming on. Milos, always a pleasure. Thanks, guys, for listening on AMA Podcast with Chris and Milos. Again, as Antoine said, check out the Centopani Circles on Telegram. We'll put the link below. But until then, all right, guys. Antoine, we'll have you again in the future. And Milos, talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
Anytime.
Have a good one.